Hey guys, uh, tonight I wanted to make a video about words and the power they hold on you when you use them. And as usual, it's going to be in the context of the sexual marketplace today. I wanted to talk about the power of words because if we are going to discuss and to reflect on the state of Western countries today, we have to use words, of course. And the words that we use, especially when we describe our own situation, hold power on us. And we should be prudent and careful what words we use and in what context and to describe what phenomena, etc., etc. And today specifically, I wanted to touch on the words that we use to describe our women, because those words are most powerful. They are very ancient, they are very powerful concepts, and they are very central concepts in society, and they've always been and they will always be. So, once upon a time, women were referred to as ladies. It was my lady or lady X, lady XYZ. They were referred to as ladies. And the word lady has a very specific meaning. I'm not a native English speaker, but I do understand English and I do wield it with some degree of proficiency. And lady has power in the sense that it's not only if you will, a noun, it's a simple noun, it's also a title. And a title in society has responsibilities and privileges, if you will, and some degree of power. And a lady has not only responsibilities to her husband and to her family, but also to her society, to her clan, if you will, to her nation. So the word lady entails some degree of education and some degree of panache, of refinement, of self-control. So it was a powerful word and it had to be basically earned. And it also represented the standards to which we held, and notice the past tense here, the standards to which we held our women. Of course, we do not call women ladies anymore, except in very specific cases, but usually no. So some people call them wives today. My wife, your wife, a good wife, some wives need a wife, looking for a wife, etc., etc. And the word wife is quite similar to lady in the sense that it entails a status and the corresponding responsibilities. But a wife, contrary to a lady, doesn't hold any responsibility to her nation or to her clan. A wife only holds responsibility to her husband and to her children, to her family. Basically, it's a family status word. But still, it requires standards and effort and responsibility. How would you say? Accountability, if you will. And we, at least my generation and younger generations, do not call actually women wives anymore because, as we all know, in the red pill community, the concept of marriage is absurd and completely void of sense and void of purpose now. Marriage is just another taxation pipeline from the pockets of the productive people to the pockets of unproductive people. So marriage doesn't hold any meaning, doesn't have much sense anymore. So we don't use the word wife anymore. We actually use, some of us who have this luck slash burden, we use the word girlfriend. And girlfriend is quite a step down, because a girlfriend isn't even family. It's girlfriend, which means a friend not from your own sex, a friend from the opposite sex, girlfriend. And it has such little meaning, so little meaning, that women actually use this word to describe their own friends. So they say, I want to go out with my girlfriends. It happens. So it has very little romantic and sexual charge. This word isn't even sexually charged. It's just, at most, companionship, and at worst, simply descriptive of knowledge, of how do you say, when you acknowledge, that's the word I was looking for. It's just an acknowledgement of existence, girlfriend. It doesn't hold status, it doesn't hold responsibilities, and it doesn't hold much power, and doesn't hold the recipient too much effort either. So yeah, girlfriend is actually a very powerful word, in the sense that it absolves the woman from any responsibility. But it doesn't absolve the man, of course, because the man always gets the worst end of the deal. And if you have a girlfriend, you're actually still required to treat her as a girl, and you as a man, which means that you have to protect her, and you have to provide, and you have to get out of your way to help and to serve. And that's not interesting, because you have the responsibilities. The word entails responsibilities, but it doesn't entail any kind of responsibilities from her to you, which is a bad deal, as we all know. So yeah, the word girlfriend is a very large step down. But it's a word that nowadays very few people use, especially in the younger generations that have, among men, seen through a large portion of the veil that women have put on society. Nowadays, many people just use woman or women, which says a lot. A woman or women is just a societal group. It's not even an individual. It's a noun used to encompass a certain group within a society, a human society specifically. So it's sociology. It's not even interpersonal relationships. It's not even personal. It's group-based, not personal-based, not person-based. So a woman, when we talk about women or a woman, we actually assimilate this individual to a larger societal group, actually one of the largest societal groups. And that's extremely dehumanizing, but in the good way, of course, because men today use that word to treat women as a whole, as a collective, because they do act as a collective. So, of course, we treat them as a collective and we study them as such. And that's when the word woman makes a lot of sense. But we can see from lady to wife to girlfriend to woman how much the status has devolved. And I wanted to open a parenthesis here between girlfriend and woman, because there's a term I see floating around a lot, which is partner. And I absolutely despise this word. I despise it, because partner is not even a term used to designate social groups or individuals. It's a commercial term, it's a business term. It designates one of the parties in a commercial relationship, if you will. And a partner is actually a business partner. The word isn't complete without business partner. And when we use it to refer to women, we don't actually use it in the sense of a business partner. We use it in a sense of a fuck partner, a sex partner. And that's a mistake on part of men. When they say partner, they usually mean fuck partner. And it opens the way to some self-deception. Because when women use it, they use it as commercial partner, business partner. Women are in business. Men are in love, women are in business. We know that. So the word partner is extremely powerful. It's full of meaning, but it's very much not meaning to the advantage of the men who use it. So be careful when you use and when you think this word, because it imprisons you in a very specific role that is very much detrimental to you. So be careful with the word partner. Partner is a legal and commercial and business term. So now that this parenthesis is closed, we went from lady to wife to girlfriend to partner to woman. And today, many men actually refer, and many younger men actually refer to women as females. And now we are talking, because a female is not even, it's still a sociological group, if you will. It designates a population, a group, but it doesn't even designate a human group. Woman designated human, a human group. You don't call a female chimpanzee a woman, but you do call a female chimpanzee a female. So the term female doesn't even acknowledge the human part in women. And that's when we are getting very interesting, because when something isn't really human, it's animal. And what is an animal? It's a set of basic instincts. That's the definition of an animal. It's a set of basic instincts, basically unavoidable, inescapable, and quite straightforward, and usually very common between species. That's an animal. So a female, when we call women females, we reduce them to a basic set of instincts. And now we're talking because it liberates the man from the false equivalent, because men tend to see themselves in other people. And if you're a man and you project your feelings and your reflections on a woman, you're going to get burned, because they do not think like you, especially nowadays. They are not held to the same standards, absolutely not, and they do not have the same responsibilities, absolutely not, and they do not have the same social burdens, absolutely not. We all know that. So viewing them as other humans, just different humans, but still humans, is actually a trap. And calling them female empowers the man, empowers the user, because it detaches the user from the subject of his reflection. And that's very good. So I like the term female. But there's still a problem with the term female, because instincts imply agency. They entail agency. They entail some sort of freedom to act upon those instincts. And although that's normal in the animal kingdom, I don't think it's actually quite it's desirable. I don't think it's quite desirable today when we talk about our females. And today, I think we should refer to females as wombs. Actually, some people do, and that's very good. Because females today do not possess any kind of interest in today's society, actually less and less. That's where we see the rise of sex robots and AI for sentimental relationships, and sex robots for basic physical needs. And those needs, those imperatives are more and more efficiently and qualitatively fulfilled through technology. And therefore, females do not, even their most basic instincts, do not pose any interest to men. So they are reduced to one characteristic that we, for now, officially at least, haven't managed to replicate, and that's their reproductive capabilities. That's one thing that we, for now, cannot take away from women, is that they have a womb and they can produce offspring. And that's basically the only way we can produce offspring. So I think we more and more should refer to women as wombs. Acknowledging their instincts is a good way to fulfill them, and that's a good way to actually destroy society, because the most basic female instincts are, just as any basic instinct is anathema to a thriving and complex society. So, yeah, I think we should refer to women as wombs, and that's been done more and more, and that's very good, in my opinion. And one last terms, we went from lady to wife to girlfriend to fuck partner to woman to female to womb. One last term, one last step on this negative ladder, and under the womb category, even more downcast, even more simplified, if you will, even more negative, is the term feminist. And why am I saying this? Because a womb, although it's a very simple function, still is a central and very important function. It's very simple, but it's an important function. Therefore, a female that's being referred to as a womb still has some sort of status and some sort of positive impact on her society. She brings forth new life, which is a very positive impact. A feminist, on the other hand, doesn't. And that's when we step into the negative part of this ladder. A lady has some positive impact, a wife has some positive impact, a girlfriend has some positive impact, a fucked partner has some positive impact, a woman, a female, and a womb all have positive impact. A feminist does not. A feminist is a destructive agent. A feminist is a negative agent to a society. It's a virus. It's a destructive. It's a negative. It's an antimatter effect. A feminist only exists through the destructive effects it has on its surroundings. Therefore, a feminist is actually much worse than a womb, because a womb is positive and a feminist is negative. And today, basically all women are feminists, which tells you all you need to know. they are not even womb. They are not even capable of bringing forth new life, and especially quality new life. So their most basic function isn't even being fulfilled. The easiest, the basest, the most fundamental function a female has within species isn't being fulfilled today in Western societies by its females. Today, females are feminists, and feminists are basically enemy soldiers. They are destructive agents. They are sleeping cells, more or less. They are the worst component you can have in a society. And that's what women are today. They went from a lady a few centuries ago to basically wife, to girlfriend maybe 1 or 2 generations ago, to fuck partner 1 generation ago, to female, to womb, to feminist. And that's the role they assume within society today. Women are here to absolutely destroy it. Thank you for watching.